Brenda Barrett, Agent Derek Bates.
Hi. What can I do for Interpol?
I'm here regarding the attack on you backstage at the award ceremony.
Oh. I've already told the police everything I know about that.
Miss Barrett, I'm afraid the situation is a bit more dire than you realize. We have reason to believe that you've become the target of a very dangerous individual.
Okay, can you tell me how Claire made this happen so quick and at night?
The federal prosecutor is stacking the deck in her favor. A speedy arraignment gives us less time to prepare and does not allow for any new developments like John Zaccaro waking up to corroborate your story.
Johnny would lie anyway, so it doesn't...
As to the lateness of the hour, it got her a judge with a reputation for favoring the prosecution.
This guy can't be any worse than Judge Carroll.
This guy is the Honorable Alicia Hamad. Don't even think about using the dimples. I have absolutely no confidence anymore in your ability to charm the opposite sex in or out of the court.
Are you Diane, are you seriously telling me they're going to deny me bail?
The feds know you want to run. Why would they give you the opportunity?
What are you doing here?
I told you I believe you. I want to see this through.
If you're planning another soliloquy on justice or you're going to race down the aisle with an earth-shattering revelation, I would appreciate a heads up.
I will be on my best behavior. Scout's honor.
All rise. The Honorable Judge Alicia Hamad presiding.
I'll hear the matter of the People versus Michael Corinthos Jr. The charge is attempted murder. How does the defendant plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
The defendant's plea of not guilty is so entered. I have a petition for bail. Miss Miller?
Your Honor, the defendant is a businessman and father with both professional and personal ties to the community. He is eager to answer these charges and clear his good name.
Miss Walsh?
Sonny Corinthos is a major player in organized crime.
Alleged.
You've had your turn, Miss Miller.
The people will prove Mr. Corinthos walked up to an unarmed man in a public street and shot him with malice aforethought. That is arrogance and lawlessness of the most flagrant kind. Mr. Corinthos regards the law as a minor inconvenience. He'll break it at will, and he will not hesitate to flee this court's jurisdiction. His substantial, illegally gained assets and the damning evidence in this case against him makes his flight not a risk, but a certainty. We respectfully request the court deny bail and remand the defendant to Pentonville for the duration of his trial.
Your Honor, with all due respect, Ms. Walsh's tirade has nothing to do with jurisprudence. It is entirely personal. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
Miss Barrett, I understand there have been death threats, even attempts on your life prior to this incident?
Yes, well, the people who exploit children don't like the publicity that ASEC generates, so yes.
A major exporter of precious stones declared bankruptcy after you brought to light their selling of conflict diamonds.
Good. They deserved worse.
You understand your effect, but you underestimate the backlash. Some very well-funded but ruthless people want to silence you.
I'm not scared.
You should be scared, Miss Barrett. You're the reason some very dangerous people are losing a great deal of money. I'm afraid this latest incident was not just the work of some random psychopath. Have you ever heard of a crime figure known as the Balkan?
The Balkan. I've never heard of him.
Unfortunately, he knows of you. The Balkan is the head of an international crime syndicate. We don't know his true name. We don't even know what he looks like. But we are beginning to understand his methods. The man who tried to attack you at the press conference was hired by the Balkan.
The man who tried to slash my face?
There's a clear line between this man and the Balkan. What we're trying to understand is the connection between the Balkan and you. Can you think of any reason why this man, whom you've never heard of, would target you?
Ms. Walsh has pursued an inappropriate relationship with my client.
How so?
On more than one occasion, she has made romantic overtures, which Mr. Corinthos has rejected. She's become vindictive, and that alone is the sole basis for this malicious prosecution.
Miss Walsh?
Any contact I had with Mr. Corinthos was at his invitation and for the sole purpose of obtaining evidence against him. I never made any attempt to hide that intent. Once our conversations are heard, any of the recordings, you will see that Mr. Corinthos' intention...
A man telling a woman what she wants to hear could never and should never be construed as anything even resembling the truth. That is pillow talk hearsay.
The argument as to the admissibility of these recordings can be revisited at trial. However, Miss Miller, you have done little to convince me that if I do grant bail, your client will stay around to be tried.
And I should like to call Detective Dante Falconeri to the stand.
I object.
This is the detective who has been assigned to investigate the shooting of John Zakari. He can also speak as to my client's character, and character witnesses are often called during bail hearings, even those that are rushed through to railroad a defendant.
Your theatrics are not appreciated, Miss Miller. Keep them up and I will fine you for contempt.
Apologies, Your Honor.
I'll allow the witness, Detective Falconeri. You may take the stand.
There's been years of violence and animosity between John Zakar and Sonny Corinthos, but I do believe that was all about to change.
Did my client tell you that he wanted to make peace?
He did.
And did you believe him?
Yes. I do not believe that Mr. Corinthos is a flight risk. He is devoted to his children, and I don't think he'd ever leave them. He has convinced me, at least, of his innocence, and just that he wants the truth to come out.
Thank you.
Detective Falconeri, what is your relationship to the defendant?
Well, he's my father, but...
No further questions.
I do appreciate your concern. Thank you.
Miss Barrett, the Balkan is not one to be trifled with.
I have no idea why someone would come after me unless they're involved in some sort of exploitation of children.
Will you contact me? If any link comes to mind, if you notice anything suspicious...
Cartulos put me up at this hotel. I'll be safe.
One hopes.
Well, I'm sure that you will go and find the Balkan.
Good evening, Miss Barrett.
Good evening.
After carefully weighing the evidence presented and giving appropriate consideration to the testimony of Detective Falconeri, I'm setting bail for the defendant at $3 million.
I object.
I've already ruled, Miss Walsh. Bail is set at $3 million.
You know what? When we get to trial, it won't matter what Detective Falconeri said, because when the jury hears those recordings, Sonny's own words will put him away for life.
Thanks for standing up for me.
Well, Michael told me you don't lie to your kids. I'm banking on that.
Free again?
Bet you hate that.
I should, shouldn't I?
You don't feel anything right now, a little bit? Nothing?
Does it matter?
Not anymore.
I don't trust myself when it comes to you.
When you finally do, you know where to find me.
Who is it?
Open the door, Brenda.
Hey.
What did I tell you about opening the door to strangers?
Well, you're strange, but you're certainly not a stranger.
I could have been anyone.
I recognized your voice. What's wrong with you?
Well, I just came from a chat with an Agent Bates at Interpol.
Oh, yeah, I spoke with him too. I think he's a little overdramatic.
When people tell me your life is in danger, I listen.
I'm fine.
No, you're gonna be dead if you don't start paying attention.
Why can't you let somebody in, Sonny?
It's a little too late for that.
Didn't you learn anything from Stone? It's never too late for anything, not as long as your heart's still beating.
What heart?
Yeah. I want to ask you something. Do you remember right before things got really awful between us and I asked you to go away with me? I asked you to leave Port Charles with me and you said that you couldn't?
That's right.
Well, I know that you couldn't then, but maybe you can now, Sonny. I'm not suggesting that I go with you, okay? I'm not that delusional anymore. I've let it go. But maybe you could go, so this thing doesn't crash around your head.
You don't understand. That would make me feel like I was running away.
No, it's survival, Sonny. Don't you understand? I want you to protect yourself.
Well, that's why I keep 3 high-priced lawyers on my retainer.
Well, 3 high-priced lawyers, that's great. Can they beat the charges?
Oh.
I'm so afraid for you. Do you know? Do you know that more than anything, all I really want is for you to be okay. That's all I want.
Interpol agent didn't mince words. The Balkan is a real threat. He wants you dead.
Well, he doesn't even have a real name. Or a face. So how am I supposed to hide from him?
Look, let's forget for a moment that I care about you as a human being. Your work for ASEC has helped immeasurably millions of children.
So let me just continue to do that.
Well, you
please.
can't do it from a slab in the morgue. I want you to consider staying with Murphy in London for a while. At least there, nobody's tried to shoot you or slash your face.
I'm not gonna run again. For anyone. You wanted me in Rome, so I'm gonna stay here.
When do you think we're gonna land?
We should be touching down in San Sebastian, local
Colombia?
times. Yes, sir.
We're going to Italy.
Mr. Abrams said to fly you
I don't
to...
care what Mr. Abrams said, because I pay your salary. He doesn't. You're taking me to Rome. There's someone I need to see.